Chapter 2. Cookie had been hiding in the lower branches of a beech. From the tree he'd torn a decent-sized stick, not snapping it, but twisting so it came away with a jagged end. Not exactly sharp, but not blunt either. It was better than nothing. He'd watched the player and his bodyguard below, waiting for the right moment to strike. Forget the nervous old guy. He had a beautiful purdy, but he was shaking like a shitting dog. The bodyguard was dangerous, but the moment Cookie saw him drop his rifle to its strap, he knew the guy was dead meat. Sure enough, the guard never knew what hit him. Neither of the hunters had bothered looking up, supreme predators though they were, and Cookie dropped silently behind Alan, bare feet on the cool woodland floor. As his left arm encircled Alan's neck, his elbow angled so that his target's carotid artery was fat, his right arm plunged the stick into the exposed flesh. But the years of drugs and booze and sleeping rough had taken their toll, and even as he let Alan slide to the ground to bleed out in seconds, the old guy was spinning around and leveling his hunting rifle. And where once Cookie's reactions had been as fast as his brain, now the two were out of alignment. Oakley pulled the trigger. Cookie had already seen that he was left-handed and knew how the weapon would pull, and so he twisted in the opposite direction. But even so, he was too slow. He heard tree bark crack and saw splinters fly a microsecond after he heard the shot. A second later, pain flared along his side and he felt blood pool in the waistband of his jeans. The stick was still in his hand, so he stepped forward and rammed it into the old guy's throat, cursing him for a coward as Oakley folded to the ground with the stick protruding from his neck. "Red team, report! Red team, report!" wailed the walkie-talkie. But even though Cookie knew others would be arriving soon, he needed a moment to compose himself. So he leaned against a tree, pressing his palm to the spot where the bullet had grazed him. He pulled up his sweater to inspect the wound. It looked bad, but he knew from painful experience it was nothing to worry about. Blood loss and the fact that he'd be easier to track were the worst of it. He took stock. The old guy was still twitching. Alan was dead. Cookie reached for the security guard's assault rifle, but when he inspected the grip, he found it inset with some kind of sensor. His heart sank as he tried to operate the safety and found it unresponsive, knowing what the sensor meant. Smart technology, linked to the user's palm print. And, if his guess was correct... Fuck. The old guy's purdy was equipped with the same. He tossed it away. From Alan he took a hunting knife. The old guy had a sidearm, also smart protected and also useless. The hunting knife would have to do. But now it was time to find out if these quarry company guys were going to fulfill their part of the bargain. He put a hand to his side and started running. Leaves stung his eyes, twigs lashed him. He stumbled over roots bubbling on the ground and reached to push branches aside as he hurtled forwards in search of sanctuary. From behind came the crash of gunfire. Overhead, the sound of the drones intensified. They'd spotted him now. The time for stealth was over. He just had to hope he'd given them enough to think about in the meantime, and that the two casualties would slow them down. Teeth bared, hatred in his bones, he kept running. The trees were thinning. Ahead of him was a peat-covered slope, and he hit it fast. Scrambling to the top, he was painfully aware that he'd made himself a visible target, but he was close now, close to the perimeter. If you reach the road, you win. The money's yours. No matter who I have to kill along the way. Our players expect danger, Mr. Cook. What is the roulette wheel without the risk of losing? He'd believed them. And fuck it, why not? And there it was, the road. It bisected a further stretch of woodland, but this was definitely it. An observation drone buzzed a few feet above him. To his left he heard the sound of approaching engines and saw a Land Rover Defender leaning into the bend, approaching fast. 2 men in the front. They didn't look like they were about to celebrate his victory. He tensed. At his rear, the noise of the approaching hunting party was getting louder. The Defender roared up to his position, passenger door flapping as it drew to a halt. A security guy, wielding the same Heckler & Koch assault rifle carried by Alan